This is Crime Stands Still, Season 2, Killer Instincts. One season, one story, the podcast that delves deeply into cases post-conviction, resolving cases, bringing you new evidence, fresh perspective, and revisionist theories. The whole truth, and not just what the jury heard. Episode 2, The Bombshell. It was 1993, the year new legislation concerning Indian gaming took effect. Gary could no longer legally keep his casino profits or control the gaming facilities. Forced to defer to the Indian tribes, his annual income plummeted from $1.5 million to a paltry $100,000. He owed the Tohono O'odham Nation $10 million. They sued him over the Papago Bingo gambling profits, and the son of one of Gary's deceased partners threatened to kill him over lost revenue. The man mailed him empty bullet shell casings. Meanwhile, Pam locked Gary out of their home, insisting he had threatened to plant cocaine in the bed sheets. A messy divorce and an ugly custody battle quickly followed, with Pam taking out 3 restraining orders against Gary. She alleged that Gary, quote, carried a loaded gun around on the front seat of his car, mixed booze and antidepressants, threw things, tore her clothes, and was harassing her at all hours of the day.
Even the help was scared.
And when she did manage to sell their marital property, she pocketed the proceeds. She felt entitled, insisting she'd brought $2 million into the marriage, so it was only fair that she left with the same amount.
Was I supposed to survive on the pitiful $200 in monthly child support Gary paid me? He just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy with debts over $26 million.
She and Gary sued each other 3 times. She was so incensed by him that she threatened Gary's friends with bodily harm if they aligned too closely with him. Once, while in the Superior Court hallway, waiting for their child support case to be called, she doused Gary with a bottle of water. Incredulous, laughing, Gary threw his hands up and said to his lawyer, "I told you she was crazy. She assaulted me. That's assault." Pam, usually the well-groomed socialite, showed up for court that day dressed like someone from Little House on the Prairie, in a frumpy gray skirt, high-necked ruffled blouse, chunky nurse shoes, and a severe bun. In response to his mocking tone, she seethed.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Despite her threats, she was awarded full custody of the children, and in 1994 fled Tucson with her nanny and 2 children and escaped to Aspen, where she and Gary owned a duplex on Snow Bunny Lane. Gary, incensed that she'd taken their children, called her relentlessly, but Pam made sure they were mostly unavailable. When he once chartered a single-engine plane and flew from Tucson to Aspen for his visitation, Pam made excuses why he couldn't see them. Blizzard conditions in the Rockies, high elevation, avalanches, winter. She suggested he consult with a travel agent before he booked his next flights. When at last Pam allowed the children to visit Gary in Tucson, he found a kissing bug crawling around in the children's luggage.
They're little assassins, bloodsuckers, known to bite the lips of their sleeping victims. He could have died. After that, he became increasingly paranoid about Pam's phone calls. Said they had an eerie quality to them that made him feel uncomfortable, so much so that he thought it was a good idea to cancel their life insurance policy. But the company, Seaboard Life, said Pam owned the policy and had faithfully paid the monthly premium. Gary had no authority to terminate his ownership.
Money, or rather her lack of it, was a near daily topic of conversation between us. She said she was so cash poor she'd had to sell all the bronze reliefs of Gary's head. She said she'd considered terminating the life insurance policy because the monthly premiums were too costly. I thought it was foolish, especially since Pam was the beneficiary. I paid the premiums. I wanted to help.
She did, but sometimes her payments were late, and on the night of Gary's murder, Pam's friend had forgotten to pay the premium entirely. Pam didn't forget. In fact, She made the final payment on the night of Gary's murder. The money posted on November 6, 1996, the date of Gary's actual birthday. On November 15, 1996, Pam made a claim for Gary's death.
Have you ever had a polygraph?
Once, it indicated that I lied, and I didn't lie. It's unreliable.
I'll be honest with you. It's Investigation 101. If a person refuses a polygraph, that's the person I'm going to look hardest at. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not the one that did it. I'm not guilty. I'm not the one who would ever go after Gary. I mean, he's the father of my children. You know, I mean, even if he did things that I could have gotten him in trouble for, which there were definitely things, definitely, I would leave. I wouldn't even do that. I mean, why would I want to, you know? There's no way, you know, so, no.
The minute Gary's business started going downhill,
I know where this is going.
you dumped him.
There's nothing about me that would ever harm a person, ever. There was no money motive. There was no insurance motive. I was terrified of him. There were things happening with him that I couldn't understand. He was off the wall. Our lives were threatened. I mean, our lives were threatened. Gary feared everything. Gary was totally in fear, going around with a gun. He had life threats. I had life threats. The children had life threats. We're talking about Mexican mafia people you don't cross. There were serious things going on.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's not why Pam fled to Aspen. She left Tucson because she was looking for her next ATM, her next bank. She was looking for somebody to provide that lifestyle again. She was looking for her next love, and he had to have a net worth of at least $10 million or more. It didn't matter what he looked like, as long as he had money.
But her neighbor, Ron Young, didn't fit that mold.
The guy was like a skyscraper, very tall. I met him at a barbecue next door, the duplex next door to me. He was a business manager to people that were at this barbecue, and I could use some help with my business, and so that's kind of what ended up happening. I owned an online company called Star Babies, making astrology charts for infants. He helped me with it, and I paid him cash. I hand wrote all the different planetary aspects to understand our children and be a better parent. Our relationship was strictly business. He helped a lot. I know it's been alleged we were lovers, but we were not lovers. Oh God, this is like embarrassing. Could we have crashed out having wine fully clothed on a couch or on a bed? That might have happened once or twice. We were not lovers. No.
He wasn't what I expected. There was something unsettling about him. But Pam seemed happy, so I invited him to Thanksgiving dinner. They seemed more like student and teacher, like he was instructing her. If Pam was asked a question, he answered for her. I thought he was a phony. He talked about all he was and all he had. When people start telling you all they have and all they are, they're usually the people who don't have, aren't, and never have been.
Even stranger.
He took the turkey carcass.
And the host demanded it back, bones and all.
Honestly, I don't know what the big deal was. Ron was just frugal.
Pam didn't like conflict, and she certainly didn't want people to think badly of her. I could see her doing that with Ron. If he did blackmail her as she claimed, she would have tolerated it for years, hoping he would just die or disappear.
They met at the base of Ajax Mountain. He thought she was totally out of his league, a real blonde bombshell. But his date stood him up, so He asked her to ride with him on the Silver Queen gondola to the summit. 12,000 feet up, he learned quite a lot about his new companion. He'd found a kindred spirit in her, a fellow imposter who craved the illusion of wealth. Pam confided in him, too, about Gary, how he'd left her destitute, abused, and had invested her millions in real estate scams.
He had many enemies.
Pam told Detective Gamber in their third interview. He considered some may have been attendees at the surprise party Gary's friends and family planned the night of his murder, a celebration Gary and Pam's children, Trevor and Lois, had mysteriously not attended. Pam's close friend in Aspen had a sense of foreboding when she answered the phone and heard Pam's hysterical voice. When she hurried to Pam's duplex, she found Pam rocking in fetal position on the floor, surrounded by crumpled Kleenex. What happened?
I was absolutely hysterical. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do?
You missed October's life insurance payment. Gary's dead. He's in pieces.
It was a curious detail, considering no news accounts had yet revealed the condition of Gary's body. Distraught, Pam spent the night on the phone with Seaboard Life, trying to negotiate an overnight payment.
Thank God the company had a 30-day grace period.
Sometimes the best way to catch a killer is to take a closer look at the victim, his habits, his ex-girlfriends.
He had virtually no sense of personal security. Never lock his car, wouldn't lock his house. So someone with intel or information on Gary's lifestyle could easily have set him up. And what was interesting is the day of the murder, someone called and asked if he was playing golf.
Someone had to have known that Friday, the day of the bombing, was not Gary's usual golf day. Someone had to have known that the Westin La Paloma allowed Gary to play, despite his delinquent golf membership dues.
Gary had a presence, charisma. He loved Pam, but worried that she had fallen out of love with him. She loved someone extremely rich. "I'm not that same person," he said, and there was something so desperate about the way he'd said it. Like being poor might actually kill him.
She told detectives that Gary grew increasingly paranoid, carried a gun, thought he had a stalker. Once, in a nearby empty movie theater, Gary recalled a stranger squeezing into the seat behind him, coughing and sputtering as if he'd been running. The man so freaked Gary out that Gary dropped his popcorn and darted into the pouring rain.
He got me pregnant. Gary wasn't happy. He didn't want a new family, couldn't afford a new baby. He promised to marry me if I aborted. Then he put me in touch with Pam. She offered a solution to my problem: adoption. She was trying to be sympathetic, but she came across as just crazy. I know what you're thinking. I came from poverty, coal miner's daughter, and Gary was the kind of guy who dropped $10,000 on luggage, $20,000 on drapes. He didn't have to take care of us, but he did.
After his girlfriend sued him for paternity, of course.
You left a message on Gary's answering machine.
I was hormonal. You'll pay. Someday, you'll pay.
Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Crime Stands Still. And remember to download and listen for free on all your favorite streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, or Amazon Podcasts, or wherever you get your true crime fix. And if you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a review. Your feedback helps to keep the stories coming and lets others know where to find their next obsession. And if you'd like to learn more about this case, you can check out my book, A Socialite Scorned, available on Amazon and at kerriedroban.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and stay out of the shadows.